Yo, it's been exactly 1 year since I've done my last audio sketchbook tour. For those of you not familiar with the concept, I document everything I work on in terms of personal project in this Discord thread, in like a private Discord, where I like document videos I work on, songs I work on, sound design ideas, all my kind of plug data programming, grid patches, and so on. And last year I started doing a tour of them, basically reviewing the entire last year. So I kind of want to walk you through everything I did in the last year, what I learned from it, different new production techniques that I discovered and stuff. This is going to be a long video, so get yourself like a cup of tea or something if you're interested. And also it's going to be somewhat more personal. Don't worry, more technical tutorials are coming again, of course. But this is going to be more just like personal stuff of what I worked on and kind of different ideas I discovered, books I read about production, interesting ideas I learned in the last year, just kind of everything. Because I really like watching these videos for visual art. That's also why my stupid face is a bit bigger in the frame today. I know the lighting isn't ideal. Maybe I can actually get a bit more light on myself. Maybe that makes it worse. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's kind of silly looking, but whatever. It's not a huge deal. I'm just kind of going to be discussing. Let me just this stupid light here. Everything I've worked on. So I did the last one on the 20th September. So today's the 20th September. You will see this video a bit later because I've got a few more other videos scheduled. But this will kind of be the work through. So apparently, I was working on a Udemy course on all the Bitwig audio effects, and I kind of was recording it at the time at the 20th September. I actually released it here. So this is like my course. This is also available as a membership tier now. I did that later. Walking through every single audio effect that comes with Bitwig as a kind of course thing. So if you're interested in that, I mean, check that out. But that just takes screenshots of that kind of thing to document it here. Yeah, I did a bunch of promo posts about the single lessons in it. YouTube posts as promo kind of are a waste of time. I don't think they actually convince anyone of anything, but I was just trying stuff, seeing if maybe that makes people interested. And I also put like a comment that Baraska wrote me apparently, just because I was kind of happy. Baraska, if you're not familiar, he's the guy that came up with ring mod sidechain. And we've kind of come into contact since this and kind of exchanged a bunch of ideas, and he saw my grid thing, and I was just kind of happy that he liked what I did. I don't know, sometimes when someone that did something cool recognizes my stuff, that's just fun. Then here's the first audio things I was working on. These are for an EP I did with someone by the name of Claire / Lither and Mud, but I can't pronounce that name, so it's like a Welsh name, whatever. So these are kind of for Bulefest at the time, which is like an online charity DJ thing. So these are 2 songs we were working on, trying to kind of finish these. I'm just gonna play you these. So one of them is a solo track by me, and one of them is a collab of us, I think. So the first one should be the collab. Just gonna play you a bit of it. So yeah, you can go listen to the EP if you want to hear the full thing. But that's the basic idea. The composition and stuff is all by her. I did mainly like the drum stuff and the glitchy bits and so on. The sound designy stuff around it, kind of. And then this is a solo track, which is kind of an ambient type thing that I did. This EP was a bit rushed because we had a deadline for it, so it's not like the highest fidelity I would have hoped for, but it's still kind of a cool EP. kind of some cool musical ideas going on in there. This is like the ambient thing I did. So yeah, a bit of audio collage stuff there. There's some melody stuff happening later on here. Exploring some orchestral sound design stuff. I was working on the course about drums, apparently. So this is kind of that. This course is since released. It's basically on like drum sound design and stuff. It's available on my Udemy if you're interested. But I was just working on it at the time and kind of documented my process about rearranging some stuff. Trying to basically organize the information in the course in a way that's like easy to follow and stuff. I feel like that's usually the biggest challenge with making videos and courses. It's just getting the information in the right order so that there's like a logical progression from each piece of information, and it's not just like a long list, but it feels like there's kind of like a line through it, like a storyline, I guess. The lighting situation really isn't ideal, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm not used to filming my face. I should just stop looking at the face cam. Then I made 2 basses apparently. Oh yeah, these are sounds for my grid sound pack. So I made like 64 sounds for Bitwig's grid. Originally it was gonna be 100, but I felt like 100 is a bit much. Some video ideas I was gonna make. This kind of later, very later, turned into the psychoacoustic series, one of the episodes of that. I wanted to make a bunch of plugin videos, but I kind of noted that I hate making plugin videos, so I kind of abandoned that after making 2 videos about the AppleSoft stuff. And then here's some videos for channel members I wanted to do, and I did a bunch of these, like the mixing, mastering, the addictive drums thing. Bunch of these I already made. I made most of these. I just keep like lists of tons and tons of video ideas and kind of pick out the best ones. Some scripts I was writing. The EQ one I actually made. This one turned into the grid video, I think. This one I never made because this project organization is kind of boring. These are some more ambitious video ideas that some of them turned into something, others not. Some ideas for future courses. I'm working on more sounds here. Apparently some ambient pads. And then I started doing Tober last year, which I'm gonna do again this year, but I'm gonna do a bit different. Basically every day of October, I wrote last year at least a piece for solo piano. So there's gonna be a bunch of these now. This is October, so like this is the first one, just to kind of practice my composition and get a bit better at that kind of thing. So yeah, I think this is like Phrygian dominant scale or something, just exploring. Here's more sound design stuff apparently. I restarted recording some videos. I assume this ended up in the grid pack somehow. Yeah, this ended up in the grid pack. Second day of Pianotober. Some of these are very quiet, but Yeah, actually, I made all of these on stream. These streams are all available for members of how I wrote these. So these are all just MIDI, and some of them turned into songs later. I reacted with an emoji to some that I might use later for like as a basis of like an arrangement. Bass sounds. The book about modulation I got, which I want to all copy into Bitwig. I never did this, but I wanted to. I will, but this book is kind of dull. It's just examples of modulating from any key to any key without really any theory explanations or anything, so it's a bit boring. Another piano thing, Day 4, actually turned into a song, this one, I think. Yeah, this song isn't released yet, but this is something I'm still kind of working on, trying to basically sound design for this and kind of take the piano piece into a full kind of electronic music arrangement. Apologize for how quiet some of these are. This is a chart of albums I keep, just a bunch of albums I like and I re-listen to over a while. If you're interested, let me zoom in. Yeah, these are all albums I would recommend you listen to. Oh, you can't really see the text. Well, I post this on social media sometimes, so you can find it there. A wooden gate cover. So this is for the album I made with Claire. Kind of a cover I made that's like a mix of like this is a picture of my hand, and the background is kind of collage that's AI generated, which is something I did more at the time. Over the last year, I've gotten really fucking annoyed with AI, and I kind of regret having used it for like my covers, even though it's just part of a collage. At least there's like a picture in it, and I put the text there and stuff. But like basically this kind of thing, the moon, these leaves, they're all kind of separate images generated with AI that I kind of cobbled together. If I were to do this now, I would just do it without AI because I just got so fucking annoyed with AI over the last year. Just can't stand it anymore. And kind of regret having used it for covers. At least the main element is actually a photograph and not AI, but yeah, still. Yeah. I did a bunch of painting over it and filtering and stuff, but still, I wish I hadn't used AI for this. Piano Toba. Writing for piano for a month really helped my my songwriting and stuff. I think just really focusing on a simple element where there's zero production to worry about. It's all just the notes. It's kind of been pretty good. Day 6, day 7. Apparently this got cut short. Yep. This is one that I actually wanted to turn to arrangement. As it goes with these daily challenges, some days are just kind of shit. So this was one of them. I just had a headache and I just kind of half-assed everything. And apparently didn't even manage to upload a full file. Day 9. Some days I just kind of wanted to go more experimental, just try to write out of key, just do any old bullshit that I wouldn't normally do. Kind of just expand my comfort zone, experiment. Apparently I also did a bit of non-piano writing here, so I just number all my songs that I write, so my sketches just all have numbers, so this is just sketch number 294. Horrible mix, horrible sound design, but honestly something about the melody I actually kind of like. Day 10 of Piano Toba. I think this one actually turned into a song, into Wandering or Tides. You can find that on my YouTube channel, where I basically arranged the full thing. We're gonna see the process of that later. So yeah, this is my song Tides, and that's how it started, as like a piano thing. And then to kind of learn some stuff, I just started going to the online sheet music library project, whatever thing, and just copying Bach's inventions and sinfonias into MIDI. Just reading the sheet music and turning it into MIDI notes and kind of just trying to study the pattern that he used and stuff, just to kind of see if maybe I can learn a little bit about how to write counterpoint and stuff. Here's one. Yeah, I don't know if this actually qualifies as a fugue, I doubt it, to be honest. Some more just production stuff. So yeah, kind of trying to mix classical music with like collage stuff and like botanica almost. Very, very inspired by my friend Pearl Lump. He makes like this kind of cool collagey kind of music, and I often hear it and go like, oh, I want to try that, and then I try it and I'm really bad at it, but I keep trying at least. And I think over time I got a little bit better. I'm not as good as her, but I kind of started to understand how to just arrange sounds and stuff. It's kind of a cool way of writing, just taking samples. Video scripts, transfer functions. This was probably one of the best videos I ever made. Also one of the more popular ones, which is nice because it's definitely one that a lot of thought and effort went into, and I think that kind of helped maybe some people see things in a different light, which is always cool. So it's kind of helpful for me myself to write all this out. These other videos are not videos I've ever made. They're like ideas around concepts I have that I might try to write a script around one day, maybe. But they're kind of vague and philosophical, and I'm not really sure how to kind of turn them into concrete audio videos. But maybe one day that'll happen. Day 12 of Piano Toba. this turns into my song Wandering. I'm gonna not play everything in full because I feel like this video is already gonna be fucking ages long. So let's maybe take a look at the next one. Just more. Some kind of experimental beat. It sounds really awful. Apparently I revisited, so maybe these later versions sound better. Yeah, this actually never went anywhere. This never turned into a single or something, but maybe one day I'll revisit it. I'm not very good at revisiting old project files. I usually forget about them. But like here's more invention copying, taking the MIDI, translating it into, taking the sheet music, translating it into MIDI. Kind of also just helps me practice, learn to read sheet music a bit better, which is probably a good thing. Another piano toba thing. Yeah, this turned into Wandering actually. So yeah, more invention copying, more piano toba. This is, I guess, very Bach inspired again. Shambles sample pack cover. Yeah, sample pack I released at the time, or piano toba. Then a demo I made for the sample pack that was kind of meant to be Botanica-esque. If I recall correctly, wasn't the greatest piece of music ever made, but it was just a quick noodle to kind of show off some samples from the pack. Worked on this later. This is a video script. Yeah, this is the video about transfer functions when I started writing that. More piano toba here. Felt like writing on walls apparently. The Botanica demo. Bit more fleshed out. I also wrote a glitch demo. I think I never published this. I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah, this never went anywhere. I really noticed that the stereo imaging on my mixes from a year ago was really not the greatest. It definitely got better at that kind of thing over the last year. Short one, because, you know, as it goes with these daily challenges, some days you're just not feeling it. Best to just do it anyways, or just make something simple. Get back to it the next day. I wanted to make a preset pack for each of these synths. Vital, Faceplant, Pigments, Massive. Faceplant and Pigments are ones I actually finished, and these are released now. Vital and Massive, I kind of never got to it. I've made a few Massive presets and a few Vital presets, but never enough to really justify selling it as a pack. Photos of trees, because I like trees. Invention 4 copy, more piano toba. Yeah, just kind of a ballad, I guess, of some kind. Invention 5 copy of thing, of another Bach thing. Piano October Day 19. Experimenting with some rhythmic stuff. Day 20 was too big for Discord apparently. So I just posted a screenshot. Day 21. Day 22. I think I actually released this as well as something called Outside or something, not sure. Yeah, I wanted to start work on an album and then progress on the drum production course. Once again, this is out now. Day 23 of Piano October. Not very exciting, this one. More drum stuff, so these are all lessons from the drum course, you know. And like, there's a ton of videos on snares in it, and like a few on hi-hats and kicks and stuff, but snares are kind of my main thing for some reason. And more Piano October. Day 26. Day 27. I was kind of exhausted at the time, it seems. It looks like I was looking forward to it being over. I actually quite like this one. I should do something with it. Day 28, apparently I forgot to post. But I did every day, I think. Pretty sure. Day 29. Weird experimental bullshit. I don't really like how it sounds, but it was worth a try. Yeah. Some other sketch unrelated to the piano stuff. This may have actually turned into a song much later on that sounds really different. Day 31. And then some days I forgot to post. These are ones I kind of selected because I wanted to develop them, and then I kind of got into making synth presets a lot, so these are some Massive X patches that I started making and some Pigments patches, kind of trying to explore some different synthesizers that I may be less comfortable with to kind of expand my horizons, up my sound design game a little bit. Can get really kind of cool organic sounds out of Massive X. So this is just me making some random patches and then improvising them a bit. Same for pigments, made a bunch of them. I think I posted a lot of these on Blue Sky. If you follow me there, sometimes I post stuff like this there. These are all patches that made it into the pigments preset pack, I think. Maybe not all of them. I threw some out because I didn't quite like them. But like, most of them, I think. Just some nonsense into this one. I quite like this one. Something about it just feels really heavy and kind of powerful and like a lot of weight behind the sound. So yeah, these packs kind of both as a way to make a bit of money and also just to kind of force myself to practice a ton of sound design. Because it just helps me up my game a little bit, because if I just sit down and make like 50 patches over a few weeks, of course I'm just gonna learn something from myself. So even if no one buys the pack, I still kind of got something out of it. I don't know what this is, some YouTube comments. I ask people for albums to listen to, and I just save this here. Jazz Harmony book, I never got through this in full. I got like through the first chapter or two. I need to revisit this. But yeah, book. Then he is starting to arrange the piano toba thing, so maybe skip to one that has a bit of stuff going on. I actually made a breakdown of this, I think, for like, I don't know if it's public or for members, but it exists. So basically taking the outline of the piano piece and kind of really developing it into whole thing. Once again, update to my chart of my favorite albums. Here's another one. So another one of those. Then the preset pack, you can already kind of guess which one of them got finished first. It's the Pigments one, and then later the Faceplant one. These other two never got finished. Maybe one day. More of these kind of two songs, trying to arrange them. Basically kind of trying to design sounds around the composition. It's kind of been an interesting challenge for these pieces. This one never got finished. I kind of want to revisit it. There's this different vibe to a lot of Mother music, but something about it really kind of resonates with me. I don't know. Here I started working on my course about the grid, which is also on my Udemy. Linked on my website and stuff, like my bit with grid course about like sound design. Basically I made like the pack with the grid sounds, and then I kind of felt like, okay, now I've done all the practice that I need, and I can kind of actually teach people about it. I've got like a solid workflow now. I'm actually qualified now to talk about it, I guess. It felt like I needed to do a bunch more practice with the grid before making this course. So yeah, at this point I just kind of went and just recorded the course, like talking about AM, FM, physical modeling stuff, all sorts of stuff in the grid. More work on those piano tower things. 19, I think, also turned into something. No, that's never turned into anything because I didn't really like it. Maybe let's just play this so you can also hear something. I mean, some of these whips and this things I don't like, and they're never finished for a reason because they're not very good. But I mean, that's part of the process. You make a ton of stuff that you don't really like. Just gotta keep trying till you find something cool. Yeah, the sound choice and stuff just doesn't really work. Just keep going. At this point, apparently, I was really fed up with it. This one turned into tides, by the way. So yeah, this is released. You can listen to this on my YouTube. Originally I wanted to make a full album of these, just picking out the best piano pieces and turning them into arrangements. I only really finished 2 or 3. I might finish some more at some point. Actually, I finished one more that's gonna come out as a compilation of the Journal's YouTube channel, which is something I'll post about when it comes out. We're kind of working on as a collective. We made like a compilation album. We made one last year and we're making one again. We just finished one again. And there's just the videos in process. And once the video is finished, I'm gonna kind of set a premiere up and stuff. Just like a group of people that all make music, and we kind of do some stuff together sometimes. Here's another one of those arrangements. One of those that also never went anywhere. I used to produce really dirty. I feel like my sound design and mix have been a lot more focused on kind of clean since then. Yeah, more work on this stuff. This switch up really didn't work. Also I was practicing piano at the time, going through Bela Bartok's Microcosm, just like piano pieces for really early beginners. I'm really shit at playing piano. Just wanted to practice a little bit, just to develop my ears a bit, because I feel like that's definitely one of those things that I could improve upon at. It's just like playing instruments and ear training. That's kind of the more musical side of things. I'm definitely very much a producer person. I know like a lot of technical stuff and sound design stuff, but like I couldn't play full pieces on the piano or anything, which is something I want to kind of get better at, because I feel like it'll help my compositions and kind of my intuition and stuff. So yeah, that's something I was kind of working on here. Preset packs. This is a project file for something. These are these kind of arrangements where basically every section has completely new sounds, so it just kind of becomes this huge diagonal line. And I tried my best to kind of organize it, but just got messy. More of these piano things. Here's actually me playing piano. There's a little benchmark I recorded. It's not the greatest thing, but it's been after like a few weeks of practice, daily just 10 minutes or something. At least a little something. kind of been fun doing this. These are all Bela Bartok pieces, so I kind of want to revisit this actually. I start practicing them again. Getting to some more advanced pieces. So yeah, just kind of trying to clean up this arrangement here. Bunch of stuff of that. Often, like when I'm working on a song, I just post every iteration of it in this thread. So these are all very similar sounding, just kind of minor arrangement and mixing tweaks and stuff. So yeah, more stuff of that. Piano benchmark. So this is just me playing piano again. You can hear I'm not very good at playing piano. Picture of a cat. Messing around with some stuff. And yeah, at the time, apparently, I felt like I needed to take some more Discord breaks. Just kind of get out or go on walks more. Just kind of get off the internet a bit. I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's nice to just get away from social media for a bit. It's good for your music, good for your brain. Someone I ran into on Discord said he liked my videos, and apparently I was happy about that, so I posted it here. So yeah, it's just nice to hear when the videos actually help people, because like, of course, you never really know if your weird explanations of stuff actually make sense to anyone. So it's cool to kind of hear that people do actually get something out of them. I got a tiny little screen here for mini-meters, because I love mini-meters. At this point, I mostly just have mini-meters on my main screen, to be honest, and I just use this tiny little screen here for having stream chat or something. But it's still kind of really convenient to have like a small screen, because two big screens would really be not great for acoustics and stuff, because like you'd get more comb filtering of the screen and stuff. But having like a tiny screen doesn't really interfere with like the signal from your speakers, because I like working on speakers a lot. Taking pictures of stuff just to kind of reuse as maybe album cover material or stuff, since yeah, I didn't want to use AI collage anymore like I did before, so I just felt like, okay, I should collect some material so I have some non-AI stuff to work with. Bitwig tip series, just all scripts I've been working on, more piano playing. This book I read called Musemathix. My friend Louis recommended this to me. He makes music, is like part of Dotset. Amazing book. If you like into maths and music, there's a part 2 I haven't read yet. It's really dense. It's kind of intuitive and somewhat easy to read, but it's also like, it's like not superficial. It's like actually maths. That's like actually shows you all the equations and derivations and stuff, and really the kind of maths behind things like tuning theory and acoustics and physics of resonators and stuff. Really inspiring stuff if you're into the sort of more technical, sciencey side of sound. Highly recommend this book. Probably should reread it at some point as well. It's like one of the best books about sound I ever read. There's a few more I read this year. Actually, I started reading a few more books because I kind of got tired of YouTube tutorials, because there's not that many about Bitwig anyways, and I've seen them all. So I got into books instead, and there's just a few. There's a lot of really bad books about music and sound, but also some like this. This is amazing, and this is like way more in depth than any YouTube video would ever go. And this is not the kind of thing that you really need to know to kind of like become good at mixing or something. It's more like just really inspiring to hear all these technical ideas behind music production and kind of the sciencey side. Here's some sound design I did with a plugin called Moodle. Just messing around, making samples for myself to reuse later. Kind of more experimental sounds here. That was quite harsh, I'm sorry for that. These kind of metal scraping sounds, Moodle is really good for that. And yeah, like many people last year, I kind of started getting sick of Spotify, and I've since moved off of Spotify. So kind of started thinking, okay, maybe I should try building a local music library, kind of seeing, okay, what albums do I have already, and kind of just trying to move more towards Bandcamp or like other sites or something. Kind of just get off Spotify, because with all the AI bullshit on it now, and like the CEO being such a massive dickhead and stuff, it's just, yeah, something got kind of tired of. Bass music beat. Actually made it onto an EP, I think. So working on that beat a bit more. Working on drums volume 4, making some kick drums for that. Kick drums, not very exciting. I've since gotten a bit better. The kicks on volume 5 are better than these, I think. Well, these are cool too. I still use these sometimes. I got the wave files for Noisia's album Closer. Noisia, sorry. And just started studying them. So this is something I do. I just kind of get the song here and I just kind of try to line out all the elements in there. Kind of get a sense for how they arrange songs and kind of learn from that. This really helps me arrange my own music. Just kind of making these empty clips and just kind of figuring out, okay, which elements come in when, how is the song structured, because Noisia songs have really distinctive structures, where basically you've got these 3 drop bits usually, itchy nose, you've got this intro, often the intro and outro kind of have nothing to do with the rest of the song, they're just kind of this piece of audio attached onto it, that's like mixed completely differently, it's kind of funny. Messing around with some sound design, music making. I never really turned this into anything. More work on like a thing. Experiment with sidechain techniques. I don't know, you know my obsession with sidechain. So this is like the earliest version, and then I'll play you a few versions later. This turned into my song Weaving, but it's like a really early sketch version. Very little going on at this point, so this is a bit of a later version. I later replaced the intro sound with a much better sound that I made with Phase 4, but this is still the earlier version. But this is the same song. Working on the Piano Toba thing again. After kind of having abandoned it for a while. And these are the challenges for the Tilde Sounds Discord. We started kind of hosting weekly, bi-weekly, whatever challenges. We're actually going to be doing Toba together this year. So if you want to join in on that, join the Discord. And basically you set yourself a challenge of something you do every day in October. I'm actually going to try to do a full song every day in October, because I kind of miss making songs quickly. You can see I kind of take fucking ages just revisiting the same project file, so it's going to be a nice change to just bang out a song every day and kind of just leave things somewhat rough and just move quickly. Started studying the book 20th Century Harmony, which has a ton of cool exercises about like harmony techniques and stuff. So these are some exercises from the book that I did. Basically composition exercise. So it'll say like, okay, write a piece using this instrument and this scale, and then I did that. composition is just one of those things where I always kind of feel like, okay, I could improve a bit more on this. I really like a lot of some specific styles of classical music and stuff that just have way more ambitious harmony and composition than I would ever be able to write in my own music, which is very basic. Like it's not that basic for like electronic music, but compared to like jazz or classical music or something, it's of course very basic. So I kind of sometimes I just feel like, okay, I want to go in and just study a bunch of harmony and up my game a little bit, because I really like how some of those more out there early 20th century harmonic techniques sound, like composers like Dalla Piccola, or even like some early Schönberg, or like what the fuck are called, I don't know, there's like a bunch of people that like write weird string quartets with weird harmonies, and I wish I could write like that. So sometimes I just feel like, okay, I need to sit down and fucking study harmony now. So yeah, a bunch of different studies and kind of harmony writing and melody writing. Some of these are quite out there. Oh, whatever. This is for the first Discord challenge that we did. It was writing a piece for a single instrument, so like sound designing a sound and just writing a monophonic melody line for it. So yeah, started writing the psychoacoustic series, which started taking up a lot of my time because I wanted to actually properly research everything. This is probably like the most popular video series on my channel, and I feel like it's probably for good reason. It's definitely one of the series I put the most work in, and actually just like took the time to read some papers and like read just listen to like psychoacoustics lectures on YouTube, kind of trying to find different lectures on different subjects and kind of then apply that information to music production. So you can see these are kind of the episodes. They ended up getting a bit different names. So first one is loudness, masking, pitch, timbre. It's kind of changed, I think. Multisensory integration is the theme of the last episode, but I ended up branding it a bit different, about like kind of illusions and how your ears can fool you and stuff. But it is about how basically what you see influences what you hear, and how you can't kind of separate your senses. So like if you see a certain thing, you will hear different. That's kind of an interesting phenomenon that is like the McGurk effect and stuff. You can just go watch the videos. And yeah, because this is kind of a scientific subject, and I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the word. I'm just some internet idiot that makes sounds, funny little glitch sounds on his computer. I felt like I needed to put a disclaimer at the start of these videos to kind of tell people, okay, be careful when you're listening to me. I'm not actually an academic, even though some of these subjects use academic research. I'm just an amateur collecting this information for music producers like myself that kind of want to use it, and kind of more focusing on what resonates with my personal experience and what I'm kind of able to reproduce inside the door, and less about like proper scientific methodology or anything like that, which I'm absolutely not qualified to teach. So this was kind of important to me. I don't know if it really mattered, but I just felt really bad about talking about science without actually having a degree in the field or anything. So I felt like, okay, I should tell people from the start, okay, this is what you're getting here. Don't expect an actual scientific education. I'm a music producer. Don't go to a music producer for information about science. Horrible idea. All you're gonna get from music producers is bro science. And yeah, watch out. So yeah, these are kind of the script ideas. And this is, I don't know what this is actually. Not loading apparently, I don't know. Got into sound effects design. Oh yeah, I started making intros for my channel. Basically, just having a pretty basic information that follows a piece of sound design, so I can kind of have a different piece of sound design for every intro. Or like at least have a large pool to choose from. So these are kind of some of the first sort of intro sounds that I felt kind of were representative of my style of sound design. So I wanted these to still be kind of weird and glitchy and kind of noisy and kind of fit my style of music. Would also work as like a quick intro whoosh. And then started writing the 100 sound design techniques. This ended up being 65 techniques. I was a bit over ambitious at the start. And this turned into a series. Originally it was all going to be one video, but I kind of felt like, okay, no one's actually going to take away anything from that video if I just go through all of them at once. It's better if I just give people one at a time and then they can go to their door and actually try it. And because like if you just watch the video, you're not gonna remember shit. It's waste of your time. It may be, if it's entertaining, it's cool and fine, but if you don't actually reproduce it in your DAW for yourself and kind of get your hands dirty and practice with it and kind of make sense of it for yourself, you're not actually gonna learn anything. So it made more sense for me to make these as individual episodes. Intro sounds. These got polished more. This is a study of a Man I Trust song that I liked because I feel like they have cool harmony. So I just copied it off MuseScore, I think, just to kind of get a sense for how they write. Tilde Drums Volume 4. These actually didn't make it on because these are horrible snare drums. But some of the later ones got better. Messing around with physical modeling for snares, I think. I made a members video about this. Well, there's kind of something cool about it, but it's also not the cleanest snare. Another chapter of 20th century harmony. This is about chords by thirds, so basically like traditional triads and seventh chords and all the higher extensions were basically just stacking thirds like the classic jazz chord kind of thing. So these are just the exercises from the book, basically. I just did all of them. Once again, trying to basically do what I just told you, actually do the exercises, because if you don't do the thing, you only listen to someone talk about it, you're not really learning anything. Some of these are quite out there, because this is a book about 20th century music, which is often a bit wonky, but like, I kind of like that sound. This is, I don't know what this is. Yeah, sometimes I just feel like making a drill beat, I don't know, it's just fun. This never turned into a song, I think, but just a little sketch. Yeah, trying to finish this thing. Then making samples for Sounds in Solidarity, which was like a sample pack for charity that actually made a good bit of money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund, I think, the PCIF, probably heard of them, organized by Violet Inbound. He kind of asked me if I want to participate, so I made some sounds for them, like some Nero basses. I don't think you can still get the pack. I think if you like show them that you donated to the PCIF, you can still get the pack from them somehow. You'll need to message them, but the website isn't available anymore. But like, if you want to get these sounds and support the Palestinian people, then that's something you can do. So yeah, I just made some kind of my standard bullshit for the pack, because that's what I'm best at. Neuro basses, glitches, some risers later on, some sound effects. Yeah, working on the arrangement more. Really trying to make it kind of detailed and stuff. Mid-side EQ. Okay, one of the videos blew up apparently. Well, this was, I think, the first episode actually. The second one really blew up. That's my most viewed video now. The one on masking. But yeah, this is a course on composition I wanted to write, but I kind of abandoned again. Maybe I'll revisit it at some point. Because I do have a lot of thoughts on composition and kind of how to teach it for piano roll using music producer idiots like myself that kind of have a bit of a different way of thinking about things than like classical composers. But I just keep feeling like I need to learn more about composition myself before I can make a course on it. But it's like something I'm always kind of tinkering with in the background with like new course ideas and stuff. As I said here, just adding random nonsense. So there's just kind of adding stupid little bits of detail, little sound effects, little layers here and there. Just trying to kind of experiment, see how I can make this cooler. Another drop idea, I guess. Another drop idea. Another one for a Tilde Sounds Discord challenge. So this one I think was about using like only a single track in your DAW and like doing basically hocketing between samples all on one track and doing all just using samples on not having any layers, basically just having single sounds. Like people compared it to linear drumming, but like with audio samples. I don't know, you can go on the Discord, listen to people's entries and stuff. People made a bunch of cool things for this challenge. So yeah, just did a bunch of glitch and did a ton of basically bouncing in place and editing and all on one track. This is experimenting with basically using bandpass filters and white noise to make kick drums. It's kind of has a nice sort of soft sound to it. This actually later turned into a sound design concepts episode. And yeah, this is that same challenge, just kind of polished a bit more. I miss writing stuff like this. It's really fun. It's just completely anything goes. Just make it sound weird and fun. Making assets for the third episode of the psychoacoustics thing because I felt like to illustrate my point I kind of needed to make some animations, so I made some PNGs that I can kind of move around. I'm not a competent video editor by any mean of the word, so I did it all in a very hacky way, where basically I used Google presentations and some images that I took and kind of cut out to kind of make these PNG assets that are then automated around with keyframes in DaVinci Resolve. It's really stupid. And yeah, more work on that challenge. Another drop. This is horrible. Actually, let's listen to this. And then later version. I guess kind of inspired by the glitch hop from that tip rebubble. I was thinking about writing a book about music production, but I kind of abandoned it because it was too big of a project and I had too much other shit to do. And I also felt like, okay, maybe writing a book is maybe something that I need to kind of take more time for. That's like the best books are written like over many years and like really, yeah, not just in like a few months. I feel like those are the books that kind of last. So I really wanted to take the time to really think about stuff. Really horrible drop idea. Whatever. I wanted to make a video about maths and sound design, but I never really made that because I don't know. Just got bored of the idea and didn't really have anything inspiring. Making a pack of drum breaks here that's actually released now. You can see here this is really quite dynamic still, so these aren't mastered yet. So basically making these with a mix of like addictive drums and samples and a bunch of processing. This is the script for one of the episodes of the psychoacoustics thing, I guess. Yeah, it's too small to really read. I just downloaded a bunch of GIFs of Wikimedia Commons to use for a music video, because that felt kind of like a fun idea. This is for the music video of Tides, I think. I once again it's trying stuff for the course that I was gonna make on composition, but I never really did. This is for the book idea that once again is probably not gonna happen in this form, maybe in some other form. I did write like a smaller book that's like the sound design concepts book, which is just the sound design concepts thing. Just summaries of each episode, but like this was gonna be like a big proper book that was like everything I know about music production and kind of hopefully was even gonna find like a publisher for it and stuff. But like that's something that's for the future. Not something I'm gonna do right now. Working more on that arrangement as well. And set a goal for reading. So I did a bunch more reading, had like a bunch of books about music and also some other stuff that I read and kind of found some inspiration from, I guess. I'm working on this, asking for mixed critiques from some friends. This is a thing for a challenge here that actually turned into a song that's not out yet. That's gonna release on the Journals compilation. So follow Journals Collective on YouTube if you want to see what that's gonna be. That's gonna be out hopefully sometime soon. But yeah, it started as an entry for the Discord Silence, basically making music based on an artwork by an artist that I really like called Ian McHugh that does these really cool digital paintings. Has a really cool kind of very distinct style to it and really cool vibes, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of realized that I have made 100 production tutorials at this point, which I found a bit shocking because I never really, I feel like I just kind of got carried away making a bunch of videos about any old thing I could think of or felt like there should be a video about. Kind of, yeah, working more on the challenge thing. This book here is absolute dog shit. This is horrible. Don't read this book. This is like 50% of this book are just Audacity screenshots and it's super superficial and there's a lot of technical mistakes and stuff, and I hope to learn more about DSP from this, but this is bad. This book is pretty cool. It's about music and maths. It's somewhat superficial, but it's just about the history of it all. Kind of a fun book. But this one here, do not read this book. It's absolute waste of money. Yeah, working more on this. This is the final thing. This here, Matt Davis gave me a shout out for my videos, and I was happy about that, so I posted about it in this thread here. He's like a I don't know, you may have seen him like on the Mr. Bill podcast. He's done like acoustics for him and done like mastering for a bunch of people, and he's just someone I really respect in terms of as like a person who really dedicates themselves to audio and mastering and acoustics and knows a ton of stuff, and he's really helped me understand like things about mastering and acoustics. So I was very happy to see that he kind of watched my psychoacoustics videos and didn't consider them nonsense, but like actually found them valuable. Um, this one I read, it's pretty decent. This one I still haven't read. Um, this one I also still haven't read. I read like bits of it, but like this is basically what Spotify and a lot of weird shady stuff they do in terms of their weird playlists and their like AI generated bullshit and stuff. More stuff about the book that's not gonna happen. Um, Song I was gonna call it stupid pun of it like a Kanye West lyric, but then my friend kind of told me, do you really want to put Kanye West references in your songs these days? Is that really someone you want to be associated with? Probably not. I just thought the Kanye West lyric was really funny because it's just nonsense. But yeah, this is for Weaving is what the song ended up being called, which is kind of like a title taken from an Ursula K. Le Guin novel. The Left Hand of Darkness, where they have this kind of ritual where they kind of predict the future, but also not really, and it's called Weaving, and these weird people do it, kind of monk-like people. And yeah, these are just kind of things I got from studies about bias and stuff in audio listening tests that I used for the last video of the psychoacoustic series. More work on weaving, more work on that kind of thing. I don't know what this is. Ah yeah, there was a Discord challenge about making music on a timer, so making 3 pieces of music in just an hour each. So this is one of them, this is one of them, and this is the third one of them. This kind of stuff's always really fun to write. Kind of boring. And this is number 3. Actually quite like this, to be honest. By the way, I didn't mention this before, but this thread obviously only has the personal stuff I did. I also did like a bunch of mastering work for other people and sound design work and stuff, but this thread doesn't have any commercial or client work. It's really only my own kind of stuff. Because I don't know, I feel like just obviously not something I should be sharing like other people's masters and stuff where I just work for them. So that's all not in this thread. And also just kind of this is just about my kind of developing my own style of music and stuff. So that's about the stuff I do for other people. So yeah, that's. Although I did a bunch more of that last year. If you want to hire me for mastering or sound design. I assume no one is watching this video by now, anyways. But yeah, this is more of that song. This is the cover based on a screenshot of the video. So these are just forwards of the Piano Toba stuff I wanted to revisit. I'm messing around with some ideas. At this point, I kind of thought about, okay, maybe I want to try like making like an electroacoustic album. That's like basically just pure sound and like really non-musical at all. It's just sound design and just cool sounds that like no melodies, no rhythms. It's just about sound gestures and really experimental stuff, just because it can be really freeing and kind of also kind of pretty helpful, good practice to kind of write that sort of thing as opposed to like songs. So these are very much not songs. I might actually take some of these stems and turn them into something at some point. Here's another one of those kind of very much setting out to just not make music, but just make sounds, nothing else. Just kind of purely going after what sounds cool and interesting and fun to me. And really ignoring if it's like a listenable song. So yeah, stuff like this. I'm revisiting one of the Piano Toba things, I guess. This is actually finished. This is gonna be on the journals compilation as well. So you'll have to go listen to that when it's out. More of the non-music and the kind of messing around. An idea for something that I think actually finished. Yeah, this turned into one of the songs on An Evening of Certainty. Another one of those non-music sound designy things. Yeah, I'm probably repeating myself, but it can just be really freeing to just completely forget about chords and notes and keys and stuff and just make cool sounds for the sake of making cool sounds and not care about anything else. Some sound effects are made. These also ended up on the Sounds in Solidarity pack, I think. Actually, no, these were for intros. You're gonna see, yeah, so I basically took these and just put an envelope follower on the size of my logo, and that's how I made all of these intros. So these are the intros that you're seeing at the start of all my videos. I just made a ton of them. Just because it's fun to have something kind of consistent, but also a little different every time, because I felt like, okay, I'm a sound design channel. I make tons of sounds. I can easily make different sounds for every video. It's just and shit out a ton of these. Why have the same sound every video? That's boring. And then, yeah, more of this kind of style that's just very non-musical, purely about sound. This one in particular is very inspired by like a sound artist I like called Natasha Barre. She makes like really cool, weird, I think it's like modern classical. She sort of has more of an academic background. Just to my ears as like someone that's sort of more producer guy, it just sounds like really cool sound design. I really like listening to it. It's just fun sounds. Here's some kind of weird beat, I guess. Recording all the sound design concepts videos. Making some drum loops. Making more drum loops. These ended up in Tilt Drums Volume 4, I think. I worked on this some more. It sounds a bit shit here, but this got better before it got added to the pack, I think. Probably one of my favorites. I just like clave rhythm, to be honest. Trying to do something a bit more interesting and experimental. This has like a lightness and like a bounce to it. That's something about that I really like. It's yeah, it's kind of has like an organic sort of performed sound rather than something super produced, which is kind of cool. It was kind of boom bap bullshit. Try to include some varieties. Kamlak Bimbo, he made the cover for the pack, and big shout out to him. He's like in the Discord as well. He makes really cool poster artwork lately, but he also like makes cool original music and like bunch of like jazz inspired stuff, but also like noise music and stuff. It's pretty neat. Cool guy. Shout out. There's some drum and bass, and then some electroacoustic bullshit. The goal with these is just to kind of make your brain feel weird and funny. I don't know. It's pretty satisfying for me to listen to this stuff sometimes. Sometimes it's also really exhausting and annoying. You definitely need to be in the mood for it. Yeah, just some sketches here, stuff I never really finished. A really old experiment that ended up on the album. More work on the piano tuba stuff, more electroacoustic bullshit. An idea that never went anywhere because I didn't really like it. More on the arrangement of this. Something I never finished. I might finish it someday, but it needs a lot of work. This turned into my song Shards. Yeah, some other sound designy stuff. This This is the video series, Sound Design Concepts, which is actually coming to an end soon. I'll be releasing this video basically once this series is finished. There's like 3 more episodes that are due to release. And then it's over and I'll be doing other stuff. In October, I'll mainly be uploading just the Toba songs, so the daily songs, so there won't be really many tutorials. There'll be members videos though about anything I discover. Sign up for memberships. Yay. But also there'll be, in November, I'll get to making a series about mixing. That'll have like basically sound design concepts, but for mixing. So mixing concepts. And it's gonna have like 70-ish episodes. Just about all sorts of different techniques I use when mixing. More piano stuff. Here's when I got into plug data, because I was reading this book called Designing Sound by Andy Farnell. Really great book that Travis on my Discord recommended, actually. He shared something from it and I had to kind of buy the book and kind of really got into super technical stuff about sound design, and that really goes into the science behind it. And then there's a bunch of things about how to do these things in pure data and really low-level audio sort of stuff, really cool stuff. So I learned a bit of pure data from that, and that's kind of how I got into plug data as well. But we'll see more of that later. Some disconnected ideas here. I wanted to make a course on mastering electronic music. I never got to that. Maybe I'll revisit it someday. I kind of forgot about it, to be honest. Yeah, more. This ended up on the album as well. This is like the song charts. Yeah, this is one of the exercises from the Andy Farnell book about remaking a microwave beep. So just kind of measuring the frequency and just kind of synthesizing it in plug data. This is a beautiful, beautiful photograph of a book about mixing that's actually not shit. It's called Mixing with Impact by Wessel Otlerton or something. He's like a Dutch guy. Learning to make mixing with impact, learning to make musical choices. Actually, some solid advice on this. It's not hyper in depth, but it's really solid. So if you want like a good book about mixing, this one, Mixing with Impact, Learning to Make Musical Choices, I can actually recommend this one. Apparently I did like some bullshit about putting sound design into Minecraft. At this point, I completely abandoned that. I wanted to make like a sound pack for Minecraft, because I don't know, that seemed like a fun thing to do, but I kind of got bored of it very quickly. More plug data exercises from the book. So this is about like phone tones and stuff. It starts with very simple things like that and gets more complex later. So like designing like phone dial sound design bullshit. Songs for the album An Evening of Certainty, more of that sort of thing. This is Coma. I made a breakdown for members of this recently. More stuff for the album. So yeah, more things like that. Little unfinished sketch, just noodling around. Another sketch for the album. Something about guitar. I don't know what I did here. Some sound design, I guess. And yeah, started assembling a pack of drum breaks. You can buy that now, that's out. And more sketches here. Kind of shit. Didn't do anything with it because I don't like it. The production on this needed a lot of work, but it like the composition. So yeah, more break stuff. Mixing, working on an evening of certainty. You can see the same numbers over and over again. I only title my songs very last minute. I like to just keep them numbered and just focus on how they sound. I'll think about titles later. I don't know, different people like titling very early on. I don't really like naming my songs. I wish I could just number them all, but of course no one would remember their names if I did. So I do have to come up with a name eventually. Yeah, cover for the breaks pack. Just very simple. Working on my website, redesigning it, more mixing. I wanted to make YouTube series about music production resources. So like things I like patrons I like, books I like, software I like, communities I like. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm ever gonna do that, but maybe. For the album here, more stuff, just the same old songs. This song didn't really make it on because I wasn't really sure how to finish it and kind of where to take it. And it didn't really fit, so I just kind of took it off the album. Did some singing practice. I'm not gonna play with this. I'm gonna spare you my horrible voice. But I was reading Harmonic Experience by W.A. Matthew, and it has you like sing these things in just intonation, and it's a really interesting experience. It's surprisingly doable, even for someone tone deaf like me. Reviving one of the things. This is early designs for one of my transient shaper plugin ideas. This one didn't go anywhere, but I made some other transient shaper plugins with plug data later. Landslide of the album, An Evening for Certainty, work in progress. Once again, just I was happy that someone that I kind of look up to said something nice about something I did. In this case, Air Windows. Chris, I don't know, he's a really cool guy, really friendly guy. That makes like tons of free and open source audio software and has a bunch of really cool, very unique ideas. He has like a really different way of thinking about audio processing than I think any plugin developer. So that's pretty cool. I made a transient bandpass filter that I call transpass, and then I thought, okay, with that name, I kind of have to make it like blue, pink, and white colored because you gotta embrace the puns. And so yeah, I had Snap. Snap is another kind of transient thing. And then this is something I never released. It's based on the Kant Presser by Rob Cloth or Vatex, which is kind of like a weird compressor thing that just squashes everything into being the same loudness. So I just kind of, as an exercise, try to remake that in plug data. It's fairly simple. Then more from the Funnel book. This is about synthesizing water bubbles. Exercises from that, just copying stuff from the book and kind of doing some exercises and whatever. Yeah, patch about filling a glass with water. A rainfall patch. This is an early concept for the plugin that turns into transient. I had a bunch of other ideas that I kind of cleaned up a bit more since then, but you can see the kind of the transient harmonic module and the transient dynamics, and the this transient EQ kind of got merged into the transient dynamics with the filters. The limiter and the gate I didn't use because this can kind of just do it, so it kind of became redundant. I simplified this a lot, made the UIs a bit nicer. The transient replace was kind of meant to be like a Mr. Build snap clone or slap clone, but I didn't really, didn't feel like it, so I removed that bit as well. Yeah, just trying to implement the different modules here, trying to design transient shapers, which is something I have done in the grid before, so I was like vaguely familiar. I just kind of needed to find ways to translate my ideas into plug data. And then yeah, this is kind of the UI kind of took more shape of what it actually became. Yeah, this is basically the finished UI, and then this kind of plugin is what I released more or less. Then I was messing around with sound design and feedback. And you can actually get this on my Gumroad, by the way. It's free. It's like a plug data plugin that has like a transient shaper that does a bunch of unique stuff that other transient shapers don't. That sometimes it's actually quite useful. I still use this sometimes. Feedback. Sound design. And using feedback to make ambient nonsense. Just making some sounds. Okay, that's certainly the sound of all time. I think I discovered like a processing chain here that's really cool that I made a members video about that uses like weird feedback in spectral processing and DFX Scrubby and a bunch of other bullshit in Bitwig's Delay 4. And it sounds pretty cool. Weird drum experiments that never went anywhere. Kind of wanted to become more productive, so I wanted to track the time that I spend inside the door every day. Because I feel like there's often the risk of kind of just spending all day just doing YouTube and marketing and stuff and trying to make courses, and I kind of really wanted to make sure that at the core of everything I do, I just spend a lot of time in the door making sounds and just getting good at making music, and then later try to find ways of making money off that. But like at the core of it always is just like doing lots and lots of music, because that's kind of what I do care about the most. YouTube is fun sometimes and stuff, but like there's no point in making YouTube videos about music production if you don't actually produce music a lot, you know? That's the most important thing. So yeah, that's just some loop, just experimenting around, and none of these are maybe not often, not always the goal to make something that sounds amazing or works, just kind of trying stuff, just getting ideas out, and some of them stick, some of them don't, that's part of the process, that's fine. Mastering my album, named all the songs here finally, and you can find that you can even find it on Spotify. I'm kind of resentful of that, but I just feel like I need to have one thing on there just to kind of have a portfolio there in case people want to hire me for working on mastering and stuff, so I just have something I can show them. But yeah, it's also on Bandcamp and YouTube and anywhere else, so yeah. Weird experiments. I think this was when I had my wavetable phase. And then I made a didgeridoo in the grid for some reason. I hired someone to make the album cover, which is something that's, I don't know, I really like this person's artwork, so I kind of spent a bunch of money on actually commissioning them, which is something that's usually a bit outside my budget, but I felt like it's worth it for that album. Spent more on the album cover than I actually made back with the album, but like, I really like the cover, and it's cool. And the album is also just good to kind of show to people for like, okay, I can make music, listen to the music I made, hire me for mastering or private lessons. I do actually make music that you can listen to. I don't just talk about it all day. Some song ideas, I guess. Some of them more experimental than others. This is like a ghost arrangement study of like an Arthur Dubois live performance, just because I felt like it was interesting. I kind of liked the vibe of it. So I thought might as well do a little study of it. Maybe I'll learn something. And Botanica nonsense. So at this point I was deep in my wavetable phase, I think, which resulted in like my wavetable pack. Did some transcription practice of some Bach pieces, just trying to transcribe them by ears. Cheated a little bit by looking at millimeters. Because my ear training in terms of like classical music and stuff, it's not great. This is like a sketch that's super inspired by the study I did of Arthur Dubois choir. So kind of trying to emulate that style a bit, kind of see if I can kind of pull it off. So really trying to use minimum samples, minimal production, just using the same samples, repeating them and kind of creating interesting patterns that way. Yeah, here's wavetables. I think these are gonna sound horrible in Discord, because Discord playback is not made for previewing wavetables. Yeah, these sound really clicky, but they sound clean if you import them into BigBook and stuff. Botanica stuff. Just experimenting around. Some ideas. And yeah, a band hired me at this point to make like an intro for a live show for them. Well, as I said, I'm not sharing that stuff in this journal, just because like that's client work, that's kind of separate. And more making wavetables, writing the sound design concepts PDF, more writing of that, making wavetables, messing around with stuff. I'm just trying different ways of writing. Yeah, this isn't great. This could actually be turned into something, I think, but it needs a ton of work. More experimenting. This is a collab for an album. Once again for the journal's compilation album, another collab with Claire, Lither and Mud. So you can go listen to that on the journal's YouTube in a few weeks, I hope. Basically, she played like a solo on the keys, and I just produced drums around it. This is a very early sketch, so this got a lot more produced later on. Yeah, some sketching, and then just ideas from the Andy Farnell book. Once again, great book, highly recommend. If you really want to learn sort of modeling sounds and recreating sounds and kind of non-musical sound design for like games and stuff, and synthesis and really deep sort of low-level synthesis in pure data. That's pretty cool. Yeah, more on this collab. More wavetables, more work on that sort of stuff, or repetition, harmony stuff. I don't know what this is. I don't know, sounds horrible. Just some noodling around, I don't know, another sketch, I guess. More on the collab here. It got a lot better over time. The mix in the early stages is very rough. Harmony experiments. Very much inspired by the, what's it called? Harmonic Experience book by W.A. Matthew. Yeah, I don't know, just trying stuff, trying to think less about chords and keys and stuff, and trying to think more about like overtones and resonances. So like working with fifths and thirds a lot and just kind of stacking them. I don't know. Felt really out of it writing apparently that day. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. It just mixed horribly, but like the idea, there's something interesting about it. A beat and some sounds. I'm not a fan of the beat. The sounds are kind of cool though. Apparently really wasn't feeling my writing at the time. Yeah, I just kind of felt like, okay, this is awful. Everything I'm making is kind of shit. I don't know. I don't know. It happens. You go through phases like that. You just gotta keep going. Just kind of experimenting around. This isn't really awful, to be honest. It's just very underproduced and just very rough. If you put a bunch of effort into this, I think you could make it sound like a decent song. But I just really wasn't feeling it at the time. I don't know. I got into sampling jazz music and stuff here. I kind of like this one. I actually took this loop later on and repurposed it for my live set that I'm working on right now. Very wonky, sort of weird hip-hoppy vibes. Making sounds. Just to kind of reuse as decoration for arrangements later. More sampling apparently. Snare design. These are pretty good actually. Well, this one isn't. This one isn't as well. The last three aren't very good, but the earlier ones are nice. Working on drum and bass stuff. Just messing around. Yeah, my work. This is kind of the collab in its late stages. Challenge for the Discord Phonics challenge, so all about sampling, because the challenges often are just I'm interested in a thing, so I make everyone in the Discord do it as well. I don't know. This is really inspired by like weird underground hip hop beats, like thinking of like Trillion or something like that. I don't know if that name means anything to you, but that's kind of the vibe I was going for. Drum and bass bullshit, kick drums. Messing around with the Phonics more, messing around with my sample pack of sound effects. Something with an upright bass apparently. Oh, kind of a cool sample flip. Yeah, more work on all sorts of this. I was experimenting with extracting MIDI from weird sounds with melodines and then writing compositions around them at the time. Really wasn't feeling it at this time as well. Just kind of took a drum and bass beat and stacked a bunch of random samples over it. This could probably actually be turned into something cool if you really spent the time on it, but I didn't at the time, so it sounds kind of half-assed. Just trying weird writing techniques I don't normally use. Yeah, just trying to experiment with different ways of getting ideas and just creating weird samples with a grid or something, then using Melodyne to extract MIDI from them and then writing compositions around them. Kind of going for the doom jazz aesthetic a little bit, I guess. I was very exhausted at the time, so that probably explains why I was making so much ambient and kind of depressive ambient music. Because that's just what I felt like. I'm making music inspired by my friend Jordan / Megaherb that does like weird kind of mix of like sound collage and like hyper poppy elements and stuff. So I just felt like I might have a go at that. More writing chords to a slow down sample. Horrible mix, but that's not what this is about. More of that sort of ambient stuff. Weird vibey stuff. I kind of like that kind of a wonky sound of it. Song I started that was inspired by watching a bunch of Mr. Bill live streams. This is actually gonna turn into a song at some point. I worked on this a lot more. Also made this. Using experimental melody writing techniques. Yeah, this is gonna turn into a song at some point. I'm working on it, but it's gonna take a while. That same thing. The same bullshit. I think this was like the first thing I made in Bitwig 6, maybe? Not sure. No, actually, this is too early for Bitwig 6. I guess it was still in Bitwig 5. It's kind of vibey bullshit. This is also something I'm working on finishing, but it's gonna take a long time because, yeah. And worked on the transcription for a bit, got bored of it, abandoned it again. Did some vocal chops for this one. Trying to get better at using drum racks because I don't use them that much. More work on those, more work on those, more work on those, more work on those too. Yeah, just messing around. Since made this sound a bunch better, so it's kind of painful to listen to. Because I know that there's a mixed version of it. So I have more work on the same songs. Start going for longer hikes and took some pictures of some nice bogs, I guess. Swamps. Little ponds and lakes. This is starting to work on a course about basically just making a song from start to finish, very inspired by Mr. Bill's kind of Art of Mr. Bill course series, basically doing that but for Bitwig, because it helped me a lot for Ableton. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is gonna go anywhere, but this is like something I did on camera for that. Nice snare, but a bit misplaced in that song. More work. Then I started kind of, this is very recent, so this is 2 days ago. Started having ideas for a live set. That's something I've been working on stream for the past few days. And then started remixing a bunch of stuff to be in 172 to kind of fit the live set. So stuff like this. And this is actually the last thing I posted yesterday before today, so I guess we arrived at the end. So yeah, this was a long video, I imagine. Let me just check. how long this actually got. This is like 2 hours long. So if you're actually watching the full thing, hope it wasn't too much of a waste of your time. Um yeah, I always like watching these videos when other people make them for drawings and stuff, so I thought just make them for music. And once again, what's coming next on the channel is October, so I'm gonna be uploading songs daily, hopefully in every day of October, just making them in one day each. So they're not gonna be hyper polished, but hopefully still some cool ones. Also some of them are gonna be shit. That's just inevitable. You have to make them every day. That's just how it goes. And then in November I'm gonna start recording a series of mixing concepts, and that's gonna be kind of tutorials again. I'll probably lose a ton of subscribers by just posting original music in October, but it'll happen. It's fine. It'll be fine. And then in November, tutorials again, and there'll be a course on making music in Bitwig from start to finish at some point in like November, December, hopefully. Hopefully it'll be done when I make the mixing concept series. And other than that, yeah, that's pretty much where the channel is going. Kind of trying to focus more on I don't know, I've done a bunch of stuff on very technical concepts and stuff, and I kind of wanna, at least for my own personal work, wanna focus on the more artistic side of it more again, because I felt like I've basically got a ton of technical knowledge now, and it's nice and good, but you also just need to practice a lot and just spend time developing your style and stuff. So maybe there'll be tutorials on that kind of stuff as well, maybe not. The tutorials will always remain more about technical things, I think, because they're just the more teachable stuff, the style stuff. You just kind of have to figure out for yourself by just making a ton of music. So yeah, I'll be seeing you maybe on a live stream or something. Um, bye. Thanks for watching. I admire your patience.